My dear son, I was unable to stop the events that led to the fact that today I am going to the front and you are no longer there. You cannot imagine how much pain I carry in my heart. With your death, I question the sense of my continued existence.
This must be some kind of joke.
But fate throws me to a place where I might be able to save your colleagues and many others.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to War Hospital. This is potentially a bit of a grim game, very much in the same fashion as Frostpunk. You're going to have to make some very hard choices as you are in command of a hospital in World War I. The trenches are producing casualties at an alarming rate, and you are here to make decisions about life and death. You are the one who decides who gets to go to surgery and who sadly does not. Now, you have a couple of different buildings as you're starting out in War Hospital. First of all, we have the CCS, or the Casualty Clearing Station. Over here, the casualties arrive. Once we go inside, you can see that we have one patient currently waiting. Viranj Subram. Now, this gentleman over here, Sergeant in the 62nd Division. You can see a bunch of his stats over here. His operation difficulty, thankfully, is very low. The more stars, the more difficult the operation. The chances of failure, no such thing. It's going to be a certain success. Complication chances, none. Simplification chances, sometimes you get like a benefit and the guy has a wonderfully good immune system, allowing him to recoup faster. In that case, you might have some simplification chances. So this guy looks pretty good. We're going to be able to put him back to good health fairly quickly. Now, right now I only have one doctor. The doctor is currently well rested, but the more we put him to work, the more he is going to get tired. So after a patient, let's say there are no further patients on his roster, he's going to go and rest by himself. Otherwise, you can just set rest and make sure that the guy takes a bit of rest after a surgery. If you don't take care of your doctors, they will take care of themselves, and they will decide that when they're exhausted, they're going to take a good long time to recover. This means your doctor's going to be unavailable and the patients might be dying, waiting for surgery. Now, once they've gone from the surgery clearing station, sorry, the casualty clearing station, and I do have to assign a group of medics over here. These guys bring the guys from the CCS, or from the casualty clearing station, into the operating ward. Now over here we have the one doctor. He's currently resting in the surgery ward. We also have a chemical ward and a trauma ward, or well, we can, but right now I don't have any of such buildings yet. Now, as you can see, there's currently a patient. He's ready for operating. There are apparently two other patients that we can expect fairly soon, but right now they are not here yet. Once they have made it through the operating ward, they're going to go over here to the rehabilitation center. This is where patients are going to rehabilitate, and after they've rehabilitated, you get to decide, do they go back to the trenches? Do they go back to the HQ? Do you just relieve them from duty because they're so badly wounded, it is no use sending them to the front? So not only are you going to have to make hard choices over here in the casualty clearing station and potentially the operating ward, but then also you're deciding whether, well, you might see these patients again if they get sent back to the front and they get wounded again. Now, in the rehabilitation center, currently, I don't really have any pending or any other orders, so I don't have to do much here. I can assign a nurse, just to make sure that the nurse is going to help out once she actually gets to this particular, or rather, once the patient gets here. The nurses also have their own preference. You can see that Aria Wolf does not have a preference, but Natalia Simpson would like to work on the second shift in the 12-hour shift system. I'm not exactly sure what choice she's going to have, because at the moment we only got 2 nurses, and it's not like we really have a lot of luxury for options. Now, the pharmacy over here is in ruins. This thing currently basically doesn't exist. So this is not going to allow us to build either surgical supplies or trauma medicine or chemical supplies. Well, chemical medicine. Chemical supplies sounds a bit out of place in World War I. Now, what I can do is build this thing up. The same can be said for other buildings. The same, or other buildings can be improved. For example, the operating ward. The operating ward has a bunch of improvements. Over here, for example, we have the surgery ward enhancement, allowing for an additional slot for surgeons. Right now I only have 1. Over here we have the rehabilitation center upgrade. This one, for example, is sodium hypochlorite washes. Decreases the chance of operating complications by 50% for people who go into the chemical ward. And there's a whole tech tree, and this is just healing. Housing has a whole bunch of others. Right now we have staff lodging. That can be improved with all sorts of buildings that benefit either medics, nurses, engineers, or the decreased time for resting. So basically, the cooldown for all the units goes down. Production allows you to build the canteen, which we already have, but you can make an upgrade to the canteen, such as giving them more nutritious options. Because not only will we have to keep our patients alive, we also have to keep our staff alive. And the guys over in the canteen make sure that the people get well fed. If, however, you decide that, well, we're going to run out of food, which is the food icon you see bottom right hand side, you might need to go and set this thing to minimal rations, half rations. At some point, this is going to decrease your morale. That's the M with the up and the down arrow. And that thing you can see down over here in the middle of the screen. Morale is currently 50%. If things go well, excellent. Your morale is going to go up. If things go poorly, and for example you run out of food and you're going to have to go to half rations, well, your morale is not going to do too well. As for the rest, we have a warehouse. This is where you store all the resources. The cemetery, unfortunately, is where you store the dead bodies. Sometimes people just don't make it. Might be tough luck, might be the operation went bad. At that point, they're going to go into the cemetery. We also have over here, and it's not strictly a building, this is where people go who are sent back to the front. So if you have people who have made it through the rehabilitation, they survived the surgery, they've been fully rehabilitated, and you can say, well, I'm going to send them back to the front. That is going to go over there. Engineering depot, this is where we have the engineers working. We can apparently build alcohol or food rations. I would love to be able to build food rations myself. Unfortunately, of course, that is not going to come very cheaply. We're going to have to go and spend resources in order to get these things built. First, though, I want to have the pharmacy. So we're going to have to build the pharmacy and make sure that we have one, because I can now just order the resources via the train station. Over here, I can order the resources such as surgery supplies, or food rations, or alcohol, or whatever have you. But having the option to build it yourself might be more valuable. Now, in order to build this pharmacy, we're going to go over here to the improve camp. And this guy, pharmacy, I'm going to improve that by sending an engineer to work there. So now the engineer is going to work on the pharmacy. And, well, he would like to work in the depot. That is fine. I'll just shift these guys around. Because this too might have an important element of impact on the morale, which I'm going to try and keep as high as possible. We also have scouts, but currently no scouting as of right now. There is, however, the scouting tree. This is unlocked further into the story. We might have missions for these guys eventually. Now, let's let the timer run. You're going to see that the the medic teams are assigned to the CCS. Oh, we got another inbound ambulance. Does that mean we're going to get more patients? Because this is going to go from 0 to something else, depending on how many more patients we can expect. Yep, there's another guy incoming. There we go. What do we have? Vedansh Chandra. He's stable. You can see that he has a pretty severe wound. This is Going to have to get tended to very, very quickly. It's going to take 7 units of medicine. It's going to be a very long surgery. It's going to take 8 hours. It is pretty difficult, like halfway there. And the failure chance is very high. Very, very high. Oh, sorry, I misexplained that here, because this has a massive failure chance, apparently. I'm going to assign Vedonch to the doctor here. Now, he has a current status of stable. This is going to go from good all the way to very unstable. I'm not exactly sure what term the game decides to use for that, but basically tend to him now or he dies. I just hope that I can keep the doctor in, well, in operating condition, but no pun intended, because he's going to have to fix up Vedonch very quickly. Unfortunately, that is not the only guy coming in. We also have another. Who's this? Zanye Jindal. Looks like all of the colonials are coming in. This guy is stable. He has only a 2-hour operating time. But the operation is tiring. So I will assign him once he's done. So he's going to take a rest. The guy is still stable. And then he can handle him. Now at this point, one of them should be going to the rehab center. Or near enough. Shit, there's another ambulance. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright, we do need to assign... No, we already have the nurse. We just need to assign these guys... No, never mind. We should be getting these. Yeah. We're still waiting for the patient to get delivered here, by the looks of it. Yeah, there's 2 guys waiting in the CCS, because one is currently in surgery. There, patient died. Shit. Well, there you go. There goes my morale. Down by 1%. We're gonna assign some engineers, sorry, not some engineers, some guys over here to the cemetery. And these guys, unfortunately, have the task of putting our dead patient in the ground. Sadly, such is life. In the trenches, such is life. At the war hospital. Hopefully, the guy over here is going to do better. Operating emergency. What's happening here? Sir, it appears our initial diagnosis of this case was wrong. The wound was cleaned and the shards were removed, but there's no severe internal damage or other complications. We should be able to finish the operation shortly. Now, sometimes you have to make a choice. Sometimes you just get like this. You just get one option. So I'm going to go with a shorter operation, which is going to take a bunch of hours less. And I'm going to say understood. And with that, the guy should be fine. Well, he should be fine a bunch sooner. Over here, you can see how long the surgery is going to take. So we're getting quite halfway with that surgery. And the pharmacy is now operational, thanks to the engineers. The engineers are going to be pretty busy, because you need engineers everywhere. And this is kind of a theme for the whole game. You need people to go everywhere. You need medics everywhere, you need nurses everywhere, you need doctors everywhere, and you don't have enough of them. Now I'm going to assign Jeremy over here in the pharmacy, and he's going to be building a couple of surgical supplies until I tell him to do something else. As for the rest of the camp, what else would I like to improve? What I don't yet have is a chemical ward, what I don't yet have is a trauma ward. Let's go for a trauma ward first. I'm going to assign the guy who does not want to do anything outside of the workshop. Unfortunately for him, he's going to go and build me a trauma ward. Hopefully, the more of these things I have, the more of these various buildings I have, the more people I can help. I'm not sure why this thing is still telling me that it needs something, because it shouldn't. Now, I can also assign a nurse to the operating ward. So let's do that, because that does help. Improved operation effectiveness by 19%. The more nurses you have here who can help the doctor in the operating ward, the better. But sometimes you might want to have nurses operating somewhere else. Oh shit, she's over there. My bad. Patients improved, state was improved by 10% because I had Natalie over there, as opposed to in the rehab center. So I had her in the wrong building. That's why the game was telling me that something needed to change. Now, more people. More people, more people, more people. How do you get them? I don't know yet. We're just going to have to make do with the people as we have them. Ideally, we'll get more people soon, but for now, make do. Now that I've built the trauma ward in the casualty clearing station, I can also have people go to the trauma ward. This is once they have, let's say, a blue diagnosis. Sometimes you might need this, sometimes you just need the surgery ward. It's going to depend on, let's say, the unit card, whether it is red or blue. Now that does mean that my engineer is once again available, but my resources are not indefinite. You're going to have to spend your resources wisely. Let's see. More housing. Right now, increases maximum amount of surgeons to 5. This is what I have right now. More medical teams. I don't think I need more medic teams, but I might need more nurses. So let's improve this. Yeah. You are ready for orders, so let's go for that. Another one waiting over here. Yeah. One of them is waiting, but he's now serious. So they're operating on one. The doctor's going to have to take his rest after Zanye, because Zanye is getting worse. We're going to have to save this guy, and then you can rest.
Operation was successful.
Thankfully. Operation was a success. And the guys, the medic team over here, are now bringing him over to the rehab center. Now over here, they're going to take 17 hours to rehabilitate. That is a very long time. Of course, I can assign another nurse there. But right now, I think she might be more useful over in the operating ward. Because there, at the moment, we got the guy coming in with serious wounds. Or at least with a serious condition. Oh, and there's another ambulance already. Okay. No patients waiting for a decision yet, because my medics are currently bringing over the one patient that I have to the operating ward. But who do we have coming in? Harry Ferrand. He's stable, thankfully. The doctor is rested, that's excellent. What is the state of Henry? He's stable, he has a 50-50 failure chance. His operating difficulty is not that high. 4-hour operating time, operating cost is 5. He's not as severe as the other guy. And you can also see a bit more about the patient, of course, which, well, sometimes you might want to, sometimes you might not, because it does mean that he might get, I don't know, under your skin, shall we say. For example, this Sergeant Major is already married. He has 4 children. The guy is going to leave 4 children and a wife behind. Do you, for example, go for the guy who has no children as somebody who is lower on the rank, shall we say, or lower in the priority of getting a surgery? You're going to have to make some really, really hard choices in War Hospital. And what you base it on is entirely up to you. But you will get, let's say, charged by the game as to how well you do. So, seeing as I only have one doctor, Charlie White, and can only assign him to him, the doctor's going to have to work doubly as hard. Oh boy. The ambulance... No, the ambulance is left. Excellent. Next patient, Flint Dixon. What's up, Flint? He's good. He should be fine for a while. Low complication chance, 3 hours. He is the Indian Head Division Sergeant First Class. Alright, the doctor's now tired. I'm going to have him rest after this surgery, which is still going to take, by the looks of it, another 2 hours. Hopefully he'll be able to get some rest and then patch up the other men. Because it's going to get pretty rough. This is nothing yet. At some point, we might get a notification that an offensive has gone on. Maybe an offensive has gone poorly. And as such, you're going to have a lot of patients flooding the CCS, so the casualty clearing station. You might not have all the people that you need to fix these people up. You're gonna have to make some hard choices. That's the name of the game.
Multiple casualties. The 36th Division is in retreat.
Oh my, that is terrible news.
Another bunch of those poor bastards will be here soon. I'll better check our stocks.
What about the hospital? Are we to evacuate the facility?
No, sir. HQ gives us no such orders, sir. In fact, there were no orders for us.
Okay, and here it comes. We're gonna have a lot of patients coming in. This is going to be a trying time, shall we say, because I still have 3 patients waiting. My doctor's going to be exhausted by the time that he's completed all of these surgeries. And then, supposedly, we got a whole wave coming in. Good luck. The rehab center currently has people who are almost ready for discharge. Zane is going to be out here in about 10 minutes. Well, 10 seconds, that is. And then we have the very badly wounded guy with his 17 hours still for another 5 hours of in-game time. Uh-oh. Oh, never mind. Let's go to this guy. We have him, Zanya, waiting for a decision. Now, he seems to have a pretty decent diagnosis. He seems to be fair. He seems to be fine. His combat power is really good. So, let's send him to the trenches. What you also see over here is these 3 papers. These 3 papers are... Let me show you back in the main menu. Over here, I currently have 8, if I'm not mistaken. And I sent this guy over to the trenches.
Sir, patient is cured.
There he goes. Back to the trenches. We're going to see this go up from 8 to 11. So the more that you get these people healed up...
Forces in the north.
Uh-oh.
Lieutenant Colonel Angus McFidley, commanding the 36th. My orders are to set up a temporary line of defense north of here, but I will not be able to do that with our limited forces.
I understand. How can we help, Lieutenant Colonel?
Heal as many of the soldiers from the front line as possible. Having them reinforce our defensive line will help our men significantly.
How many do you need?
As many as you can provide, I'm afraid. Intelligence reports suggest that Germans will launch an attack on our position on the 8th of June, probably around noon.
What about reinforcements from HQ?
There will be none. Not until the 21st of June at least. HQ is gathering forces and regrouping for a major counter-offensive. Our orders are to survive on our own till that day.
On our own? This is a hospital, not a military camp. How do they expect us to manage that?
We will be given the best intelligence reports they have. We will know about every attack and the estimated size of the attacking force in advance. That's the best HQ could give us.
I understand, Lieutenant Colonel. There are old trenches nearby. You can set up defenses there. We will try to send enough men to survive enemy attacks.
So, situation is growing from bad to far worse. Survive until 5 AM on June 21st. That is how bad it has gotten. Over here, we have the trenches. These are the trench lines. You can see that the one guy that I have sent back... I should have sent him to HQ, actually. The one guy that I have sent over here is now waiting in the trenches. The more that we have a defense, the better it's going to be. At some point, if your trenches get overrun, well, they might visit you at the hospital, and I'm not sure that the Germans are going to be that happy to see a hospital. Whether or not these people are going to be holding the line or just raising your hospital to the ground, I don't know, but I can only expect the worst. Now, we have a lot of patients waiting for decisions, and I certainly will not be able to do surgery on all of them, because my doctor already has his hands full. Let's see. I'm going to try and get the stable ones first. And then the ones who are just good are going to have to hold on. I'm going to see how well they keep doing. If it gets worse, I might have to prioritize some of them. Now, over here we have a decision to make. Yeah, he's going to be released pretty soon. He has a 2 and a bit combat power. Okay. This guy has no combat power if I release him right now. So I'm not going to release either of them just yet. But I suppose that if you need beds, and, well, sometimes you might need them and people might already be fully healed, you're going to have to rush patients out of the rehab center. Unless, of course, you upgrade the rehab center, in which case you can get another 10 beds. But that's going to cost you a lot of resources. Do you want to spend that many resources on these things? Bloody hell, the casualty is full. Isn't that nice? Okay, we don't have any trauma centers. They're all good. It's all good here. We don't need to worry about these people. No, we certainly need to worry about these people. It's just that at the moment, I don't really have anything else I can do for them. We're just gonna have to wait for further doctors to show up. Because it's not like you can hit a button that says hire doctor and you're gonna get another one. Nope, we just got one of them. Make the best of them. These guys, yeah. Okay, let's see. Vedansh is waiting. Seems to be decent combat strength. I'm going to send him to the trenches, because if we are, in fact, getting an attack, right now we're looking at a strong defense. I'm going to send the rest of the people maybe back to HQ, to make sure that the HQ is going to give me a few more of those papers, and with that, I'll be able to get more improvements for my hospital.
Sir,
Let's see.
operation was successful.
Excellent. Operation was successful. So that means we're going to get another patient over here. 7 hours for Mr. Dixon. The guys over here all seem to be good. So nothing has changed dramatically there. The doctor's going to get his next patient. I can assign another team to the CCS. Because right now I don't really have anything that I need. Although, let's see what the advanced dressing station is. What is the advanced dressing station? Camp improvements. Trauma ward, chemical ward, surgery ward. That's the CCS here. Allows medic teams to transport wounded from the trenches to ADS, so the advanced dressing station, and then from ADS to CCS. Right. So with this, I have like a go-between station, I guess. But this is people directly from the trenches. And this is people who are going to come into the hospital. I can also set up a shift system. Allows units to be assigned to different shifts. No, let's get this. You, go do something useful. The doctor is working on Mr. Song. How's the doc doing? Doc is tired. I hope he's going to be able to keep it together, because I don't want any more dead people. Very good. The construction site is getting worked on.
Sir, operation was successful.
Excellent. Another successful operation. Now, ideally, the guys over here are going to get some support. Because I want to have this sped up. Right now, my medics are transporting that patient from the surgical ward to the rehabilitation center, or sorry, to the operating ward. I want the other guys, which are currently over there, to start getting over here and make sure that they get the patient over to the operating ward as quickly as possible. All nurses in the rehab center have collapsed. Lovely. So I need to take better care of my staff. How is my staff doing? Resting. Yep. So hopefully she's going to be able to get back on her feet pretty quickly. I'm not sure how long she's going to be working. And I don't believe that I really... Holy moly, 20 hours? Oh boy.
New patient arrived.
Okay, so now I got a very tricky choice to make. I only have one nurse currently available, which is Nurse Wolf. But I'm going to tell Nurse Wolf to rest for a minute. But that means nobody over here in the rehab center is getting healed.
Nurses are on the way.
And this is going to just add up. Moreover, the nurse that was helping here to reduce the wound deterioration speed is no longer there. So the nurse is no longer stabilizing the patients, if you were. This is going to make it more difficult. and more difficult and more difficult. And those are the kind of choices they have to make in this game. Now, let me know down below in the comments if you'd like to see more about this game. This was just a, let's say, an early introduction about it. And I'd like to see if you guys like it, what your thoughts are down below in the comments. And if you want to see more, by all means, let me know. I'm going to be basing whether or not I do a series/mini-series on this based on the number of views. So if it does well, you might get another episode. If it does not, then consider this your introduction. And good luck running your own war hospital. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon for more.